Hey guys, welcome back. Today's video is going to be something a little bit different. I'm not giving you any heads ups on any deals or any reviews or any unboxings. This is a subscriber, or at least a visitor on the site's suggestion, and I'm fortunate enough to really benefit from the subscribers on this website and the folks that visit and comment, because most of them know a hell of a lot more about things related to the guitar than I do. So I'm constantly learning, and I'm very, very appreciative of the folks that take the time to stop by the channel and comment and look at the videos. I realize I'm not the most skilled player that's on YouTube, that's for sure. In fact, if there's a bottom rung, I'm probably below that. But I enjoy what I do. I do it, as I say all the time, I'm a hobbyist. I'm someone that is a non-player in terms of playing in bands, playing out, recording. I do this simply because I really enjoy it. It's a great pastime. It's a great way for me to escape my normal routine, and it's a way for me to be somewhat focused on something at that particular point in time while I'm really enjoying it. So my story, or a limited story, and I'm going to thank, this is a shout out to Peter, who gave me this idea in the comments below, or one of my videos comments below, and he suggested that I cover this area, and Peter, thank you. So in any event, my story in terms of playing the guitar, for those that are interested or those that care. I suspect if you don't give a damn, you're going to stay with the video for 2 minutes and get the hell out. But in any event, I've been playing guitar, believe it or not, based on my playing abilities for over 45 years. I started in my mid-teens, probably 15, 16 years old, and I never really took it anywhere. I have stopped many times for years in terms of playing, and this has taken place largely through my college years, when I was busy with studies and in school and etc. My dating life, which was a good portion of my life, as well as a good portion of my married life. So although technically I started playing guitar, I should say, over 45 years ago, in terms of really actual playing, it's probably hasn't been that much, only because life has gotten in the way. So it's probably not too different than most folks that are out there with their own personal stories. I'm not formally trained, obviously. I've maybe taken 2 lessons in my life, and my ADD or OCD or whatever the case it might be didn't allow me to really stay with a structured lesson type of thing. In fact, I even go to YouTube videos, and there's so many skilled folks on YouTube with guitar tutorials and things of that nature, and I can't even sit through an entire video of those. So most of my playing, and where I learned how to play basic chords, which is what I know today, basic chords, cowboy chords, bar chords, etc., I learned from my brother. My brother also played guitar. He still plays guitar. He's my older brother, and he was self-taught, but became very, very skilled playing the instrument without any formal training. He might have taken a couple more lessons than I did. I mean, like I said, I've maybe taken 2 in my life, and that was that. But he told me how to noodle around, so I learned basic chords from him, bar chords from him. I have a buddy, a very good buddy of mine, that does record, and we played growing up together. We banged around on the acoustic guitar, etc. Attempted to write corny songs, And he showed me little tidbits in terms of chords. So between that and myself just picking up from there, I kind of taught myself how to noodle around on the fretboard. So I'm at a point now where I can play a lot of chords. I don't have any theory training. I don't know enough about the actual stuff you really should learn about, chord structures, scales, etc. I mean, I can play basic, pentatonic scales that I kind of picked up on YouTube. So when I play leads, as you can probably tell on the videos, sometimes they sound okay. They sound like they're in key, and other times they're veering off, and that's largely due to my lack of training. So, what do I find easy? Because I'm self-taught and I have a pretty decent ear for music, I have a pretty good feel for melody on the fretboard. Coming up with different melodies and what notes, successive notes, etc. And at the same time, that's my biggest challenge is staying in key, because I don't know the fretboard enough from a musical standpoint in terms of where I should go with the next idea, and not get into a bad area or a flat note. And I hit those often, very often. But that's part of the fun. I'm not out here to make an album. I'm not out here to play in front of people. Although, unfortunately, on YouTube, that's what I'm doing. I don't do it for that reason. I do it just to show people, basically, being a home hobbyist and a non-professional and a non-trained person, that you can play the guitar. You might not play well, but you can play the guitar and you can enjoy doing it. And that's my whole reason for being here. One of the other questions Peter came up with was, do you like electric guitar versus acoustic guitar? What do you like better? I like electric guitar, and I play it most of the time non-electrified, my electrics. And I like them over acoustic simply because it's easier to play, for me, with my abilities, to play an electric guitar than it is an acoustic. You have to press harder. The action is different. The neck feels different. It's typically not as flat and not as thin. So I find it more comfortable and more enjoyable to play an electric guitar. So I tend to veer towards the electric over the acoustic. However, I do like the acoustic from time to time, simply because of the resonance and the sound that you get out of an acoustic guitar that you can't necessarily get out of an unelectrified electric. In terms of music that I enjoy and my musical interests, it's very, very wide. So, growing up in the 70s, largely, late 60s, 70s, of course, I liked later-day Beatles. I'm a Beatles fanatic. I mean, I enjoy the entire catalog, early Beatles, etc., but my favorite album of all time is Abbey Road. I just simply love side 2. And that whole segue of songs, I think it's the perfect, perfect musical compositions. I mean, it's just great. So I'm a big Beatles fan. I grew up in the 70s and loving classic rock. So I'm a big Deep Purple fan. Ritchie Blackmore was one of my idols growing up. Have everything in their catalog. Led Zeppelin, of course, was another big one, big influence and a big love. Uriah Heep, although probably a lot of people don't know who Uriah Heep is. Vanilla Fudge, those types of classic rock type bands. I liked Mountain a lot and Leslie West. I loved UFO and Michael Schenker. And I still love Michael Schenker even in his solo efforts that have come out. So yeah, I mean, classic rock is kind of what I grew up on and what I love. Most recently, I've been involved in in love with, for the last decade or more, 2 decades, prog rock, right? So Genesis is a big, early Genesis specifically. I love Peter Gabriel, period, Genesis. I love Spock's Beard, which is fronted by a fellow named Neil Morse, who in my opinion is a musical genius. I have everything that Spock's Beard has recorded, as well as all of Neil Morse's solo efforts. He has a spin-off band called Transatlantic, which is one of my current favorite bands. Dream Theater, John Petrucci, I really, really like. And I have a lot of their catalog. So I'm really into prog rock now. I grew up on classic rock. However, there's a part of the brain and a part of me that really loves classical music. Dvorak is one of my favorite composers. The New World Symphony, I listen to all the time on a regular basis. I absolutely love Tchaikovsky, Wagner, Beethoven, Bach, you name it. I mean, I've got a huge catalog of classical CDs that I have. From time to time, I get into that period and I play music, classical music, nonstop. Jazz and jazz rock. Love jazz rock, especially fusion. Tony Williams' Lifetime, Alan Holdsworth, Chick Corea, and the Chick Corea Electric Band, Frank Gambale, you name it. I mean, really, really big on fusion, rock fusion, jazz fusion, I should say, jazz rock. Blues rock, that's another one of my loves. I'm a big Joe Bonamassa fan. I grew up on Johnny Winter, being a 70s child, and Johnny and Edgar. Stevie Ray Vaughan is I'm a big fan of Stevie Ray Vaughan. And of course, I didn't mention, right, saving the two for last, but obviously, Jimi Hendrix is something I grew up on, being a child of the 70s. And later on, Eddie Van Halen, who I really, really dug. So I have a wide variety of interests in music. Again, grew up in the 70s, classic rock, love blues rock, love prog rock today. Also have a big collection of classical that I love and listen to very often, as well as jazz fusion. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, as they say. If you have any other suggestions that you'd like to hear or for me to discuss, my first guitar. Let me go over that real quick. So again, playing for over 45 years, and I hate saying it and admitting it, especially after you hear me play the guitar. My first guitar was a Carlo Robelli, which is a house brand for Sam Ash. I bought a Cherry Sunburst Les Paul Carlo Robelli when I was 15, and I had that guitar for years. And actually, when I traded it, in my 30s, I traded the guitar, believe it or not. I actually got more money for it than I did when I bought it, or my parents bought it for me, because it was one of these, the headstock on it was illegal, I believe. It was one of these lawsuit type deals, and I got more money for the guitar than I did for when it was purchased, and it was a real piece of junk. But Carlo Robelli Les Paul was my first guitar. So, again, any questions, any comments? If you like these and want to see more, if you have any other ideas, put them in the comments. Peter, thank you for this one. And as always, guys, until the next time, be well and stay safe. Take care.